Alright, another episode of some road train replays. This is episode number 2. I don't know exactly what's on the plate yet, but I looked at the first video. You're going to be blown away. It's a tank farm. Going out to my regular place. Going out to west of Rocky on the ring road. We are out, one 400 barrel tank and one mat. But that's not it. There's more. Once I'm out there, we're going to spot a bunch of mats. Sand some tanks, spot some other equipment, some frac stuff. It looks like it's pretty decent time, you know. I think I found the sound effects button, and I figured out a way to use shortcuts on my iPhone so I can get generic sound effects off of YouTube onto my phone, so then I could put it into iMovie. It was a huge ordeal, I remember. Stay tuned and watch this.
Yeah, look at that.
Look
Look at that.
Get from behind
Look at that.
and you can't do it.
Oh, look at that. Look at that.
My phone is telling me there's more light required. I'm like, why? If I light it up more, you can see every wrinkle.
Well, I won the belching contest at work.
Excuse me, for starters. So, one may ask himself, how did he get such awesome footage? Well, let me tell you right now, here, for 3 easy payments of $69.95, you can have my secrets as well. Just kidding. We don't need the microphone either. This I used to have clamped onto my dash, barely. Sometimes it would pop off. And I don't have a phone to show you because it's on my phone right there right now. When I used to cram, my phone would just barely fit in here, and I'd have it wedged on the dash. And that would get me so I would be horizontal, laying flat on the dash. But you would also notice there was I used to have a suction cup too on the window. But from the heat, it would dry out, and then I'd be like driving, all of a sudden it would just fall off the window. And it's like, no, I'm like, oh, then he got the suction cup. I'm trying to wet it again. I'm trying to stick it on the window, and I'm like, I needed to get something better than that, and the first answer was this. Pick that up, camera. Not my head, this. There you go.
Super pow.
Pow, pow.
You guys all wish you had super pow. Actually, this is pretty good, but the problem is it didn't bite on the dash enough. And I didn't have a phone with image stabilization, so if it was dark, anything more than just regular light, it was very vibrating on the iPhone 6 and 7. Probably not a problem with the 13. But. And then, of course, I don't have any more GoPro 3s because I got rid of them. But I do still harness one GoPro Force Black. I think this was the first year that became standard. If you got the black, you got the screen, or it's silver. You know what? I don't even know how to tell them apart anymore. I think it's black because it says Hero in black. And it has a screen, but I think it was the GoPro Hero 4 Silver that was the first year you could get the screen. You could get the attachment for the 3, but it was another $200. Jaws, GoPro Jaws. Trust me, don't buy cheap ones. I had one break and fall off the back of the cell one time when I was doing a Sub-Zero boiler thing, and got in with Blaine and went for a drive around the side of the plant, and next thing I know, I hopped out and I'm like, oh, that's a hollow, empty feeling here. I'm like, the camera. But anyways, that guy fits in his own waterproof case. Because this is the only way you could mount the GoPros back then. You had to have a case, which is a waterproof case. You can get also skeleton cases, but I just went one up more. In there. Die grinded out the side so I could have it plugged in and charging. And also have access to the SD card, because I used to just pop this SD card out and put it in the other. I had 2 4s and a 3, which I didn't use the 3 very much because I found out real early that was garbage, and it wasn't. Having the touch screen was nicer to be able to get into menus and settings and change it, time lapse in between different stuff. So GoPro Jaws. This is what I started out with. Actually, the first thing is I had an iPhone, and the Kenworth has that handle on the side of the window, and one time I just stuffed some paper towel in there and had my phone in there and recorded. We were out at Coleman on the Forestry trunk, and we're way up at some crazy, Devon, Canada has a field in there, not very far up the trunk from Coleman. They got a whole area up there. It's just crazy, riddled with all sorts of cool hills and stuff to see. And I'm like, I gotta catch some of this, and I wedged it with the paper towel, put it in that handle, and that was kind of the start of how I got started. I was like, oh, I like that. And look where we are today. you can tell because I'm doing a 30 times time lapse on my iPhone, and I think it's probably more considered like a 50 times. Way too fast. This is before I even could realize. Actually, I don't think you can slow down on the iPhone's camera app. You only have one selection. Well, you did then. I don't know about now, but I did download a different app. It was Filmic Pro. I think it was like the $30 app to get different time ratings and all that kind of stuff. I don't even know if I probably didn't end up using it because soon you'll see I used the GoPro outside of the truck. Or maybe I took video and I sped it up. I'll have to see when I see it, but I'm surrounded by Cypress trucks. Everybody that's dropping off all the other goods here, they're all Cypress trucks. I would be the Texas bed, and Cypress had all this work before me. Shane would come out in 305. That's a T800 Texas bed that Cypress had. He would do the work, and then for some reason, they needed something, and they called Evergreen, and Evergreen's, well, main artery was Road Train. It's owned by the same people.
Continues.
So
This is the
out I
last round.
came, and I don't know what. I'm not saying I'm a better operator, but I mean, Darren always said I like Road Train's truck better. Shit, me too. I like the C500 way over the T800 any day.
Round one.
So, but all the trucking stuff, if there was mass haulage, it was always Cypress would come out in the tractors. I'd try to squeeze in a couple road trains. I was like, oh, we got tractors. I'm like, we're right beside the shop. They'll be here right now. Well, even Cypress was only 5 more minutes away, but I wasn't trying to steal the work by any means because that's not the kind of guy I am. Not going to scab undercut like most of the people in the oil field. What? He said he'd do it for $230. I'll do it for $115. You fucked it all up. On with the show.
Ah.
Alright, on to the second video of the evening. This one is particularly special because I got to go on the Forestry Trunk Road. Who doesn't like going on the Forestry Trunk Road? Every time I get to go out in the bush, I'm always excited. I'm like, I get to get off the pavement and go out in the bush where there actually is a hill or two with more than just like a 7% grade. I don't remember what the grade is there. It's probably 7%, but I was excited because Forestry Trunk Road is kind of like a legend of a road. For anybody that hauls lumber in the area knows that the Forestry Trunk Road is a pretty sketchy road at times. It used to be way worse. It's not as bad now, but it has its sketchy points early in its days when I first started driving. The Forestry Trunk kind of goes through all the greenery space we have in Alberta, all the way across. You can get on it in Grand Prairie and pretty much ride it all the way to in a Kananaskis country, all the way to Coleman. Pretty much straight across Alberta, in the bush, on gravel. It's a sweet road. I've taken it a few times in a couple of the cars I've owned. I met my wife. I'm like, we need to go for a drive. And I'm like, she's like, where? I'm like, Forestry Trunk. Good times were had, I guarantee you that. But anyways, we're gonna go and get Rycar was a place we used to work for quite a bit at Road Train. I would do quite a bit for them because they were impressed that our Texas bed could handle their pumps when they had I think they had like a 290 bed, which was like a 80s, 85. I don't even remember, but it's a bed truck, single steer, tandem axle, spring ride, mechanical winch. It wasn't a whole lot smaller than what I had when I first started out at Road Train, when I had unit 109. It was a 330 inch, all mechanical. And they're like, we lift these pumps up and the front end comes off the ground. I'm like, what? I'm like, you're doing something wrong. More concrete in the bumper. I would go over there and they're like, you think you can lift that? I'm like, it's only like 18 feet long. So yeah, no problem. And I could suck them flat and I could squeeze into their shop and put it in their shop so they could work on them. So they specifically really like to have me around. And then another thing was you'd have to come in at a 90 in their yard into their shops. And with my tiny little bunk and 3 windows, I could lay the seat back into sleeper berth mode, and I could see through the third window the end of my trailer as I could crank it into a 90 and then drive right into their shop and kick off some of the other stuff, that little bit bigger stuff they had, and they were impressed with that. So we did lots of ride car work, and kind of sad I don't have it now, but here's one of those jobs.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
a breaker 19, this here's a rubber duck.
I had to intervene. The music is getting out of control and I apologize. And it's trash. There's not much I can do. I was trying to keep the purity of what it was in its original form, but I'm over here all to the boom, 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 banging my head against the table.
Well, I have a wonderful electronic invention I want you to see. It looks something like this.
He probably did that. Oh, would you look at this? Oh, would you look at that? Oh, look at that. What an idiot.
number 3. This is the final installment of this segment. We're going to go out and it looks like we're picking up an acid tank and we got to bring that back to town. The mat stays. We stack a few mats. I almost get in a head-on collision with people that aren't using the radio, but the time lapse is so fast. You will only see me say holy crap and a blur of some trucks. And we bring that acid back to town and put it on the wash pad, and that is it. Thank you for putting up with this whole video, if you've stayed in it for this long. And stay tuned on next Wednesday when we have another load of bullshit and some road train videos that will, who knows, I don't know. It gets better though every time though, you gotta admit. Like, come on, this is only that was 3 videos the first episode 1 replay. And then we had another 3 episodes here. So there's big changes and they come quick. I'm learning. Thanks for watching. As always, stay tuned and like, share, subscribe, and all that jazz. See you on the next one.
A person who thinks all the time has nothing to think about except thoughts. So, he loses touch with reality and lives in a world of illusions. By thoughts, I mean specifically chatter in the skull, perpetual and compulsive repetition of words, of reckoning and calculating. I'm not saying that thinking is bad. Like everything else, it's useful in moderation. A good servant, but a bad master. And all so-called civilized peoples have increasingly become crazy and self-destructive because through excessive thinking they have lost touch with reality. That's to say, we confuse science with the real world.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
This is the beginning of meditation.
Most of us would have rather money than tangible wealth, and a great occasion is somehow spoiled for us unless photographed. And to read about it the next day in the newspaper is oddly more fun for us than the original event. This is a disaster, for as a result of confusing the real world of nature with mere science, we are destroying nature. We are so tied up in our minds that we've lost our senses. Time to wake up. What is reality? Obviously, no one can say because it isn't words.